Aloha, beautiful people. How are y'all doing? Oh, so glad to have you here with me as we get into today Oahu's best hikes. Here with Trav here with Oahu Hiking Adventures. If you first time here with me, welcome in. Much love. I'm an avid lifestyle, outdoor, multidisciplinary athlete, hiker, and I've been living in Hawaii on the west side in Waianae since 2017. And man, I love to hike. And Oahu, as we get into the best hikes on Oahu, it's an incredibly beautiful, magical place. So let's talk a little bit about the geology and the history before we get into the hikes. But as you can see, man, it's almost equidistant from the US, and it's like so far from anything. It's such a unique, remote place, and it's such an adventure to be here and to be on this island. And you might be thinking, okay, which island to go hike on, which to do. Well, I'll tell you that generally, okay, Oahu has the most listed trails on all trails. There's reasons why Oahu is potentially the best island for hiking. Now, the Big Island has Mauna Kea, and Kauai has the Nepali coast. So there's important hikes and iconic and bucket list hikes on other islands, but Oahu really has it going on. And it's a couple reasons. First is geology, and second is the legacy of World War II. So first, geology. So you know how the islands were formed not so long ago, millions of years, but not billions of years. There's essentially a stationary volcano and the plate moving on top of it. So the oldest island, the volcano is here now. Essentially, the plate's moving. How does it work? It started, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Well, the volcano is moving southwest or southeast, which means the plate's moving northwest, right? So initially the volcano formed Kauai and then it formed Honolulu. Well, there's multiple volcanoes, and then Maui. It's working its way down this way. So what happens is the older the island, the more erosion, the steeper the peaks. So if you go to a young island like Hawaii Island, the Big Island, Kona side, Hilo side, which has um it's still active volcano. I guess not today, it's not going off, but you have it's new. There hasn't been so much erosion. It's very gentle slopes. So it doesn't offer the most exciting ridge hikes. It does have the highest peak, Mauna Kea, but not the most exciting ridge hikes. The geology of Maui is like Hawaii Island, similar. Not so many sharp ridge hikes. There's more, but it's still pretty gentle sloping. And then you have Kauai and Oahu, which have the most, it's the older islands, more erosion, sharper ridge hikes. So to me, the sharp ridge hikes are the most fun hikes. They're the most challenging, and they have the most absurd, ridiculous peaks as you see them. So Oahu versus Kauai. Well, something that makes Oahu unique is Oahu was the base of the Navy during World War II. And after the Pearl Harbor incident, the well, during the same time, they set up watches on a lot of the ridge lines. So there are these military bunkers and a lot of maintained trails. So this creates a scenario where we have two really sharp mountain ranges with a lot of erosion that offer so many hikes. Each of these valleys is a potential hike, and a lot of them are maintained trails to the best viewpoints because of the legacy of World War II. So there's two mountain ranges. We have the Waianae Mountain Range, and we have the Ko'olau Mountain Range, 3,100 feet, and Waianae is 4,000. So let's start with Waianae. Now, I live in Waianae, and most of the tourism, Waianae has a bad rap because it's lower income and also just because, like, it's full of the indigenous islanders and who don't necessarily want tourists so much. And they're happy for there to be a reputation for it to be a dangerous place and a place of crime. That's not true at all. And also, these people are actually very friendly. As long as you come in with respect, you're good. But the highest peak on Oahu is in Waianae. It's out of the way. People don't do it, and this is one of my most done hikes and something that's magical that I value. So most tourists stay in Honolulu and they do these town hikes, which are awesome. You've got Diamond Head, we'll get into it, but Waianae, this mountain range, oh my goodness, we have the highest peak, right? So let's go look at Mount Kaala as the first one. And if we go to all trails, Oahu, look how many trails there are. So I'm not going to go into all of them. I'm just going to cover some of my favorite Oahu. Say top trails, 154 top trails. Uh, let's go to Oahu All Trails so I can show you how many trails there are. They're just a list. And there's a lot of trails that are not even listed. I know a lot of these. I know some I cannot say a lot because there's so many. Oahu, uh, where is it? Oh, well, some lists there's 250 marked trails on Oahu. 251, here we go. 251 trails. So you can see, all right, there's 45 on the west side. There's 170, or like there's more in town area. And there's a lot of great hikes in town. We'll get into it. But Mount Kaala hiking trail, it's in the back of Waianae. And you can find me on Instagram at hiking Oahu Hiking Adventures, oahu.hiking.adventures. But this is a really unique trail that takes you through a bunch of different ecosystems. There used to be coffee forest back here, so you go through coffee forest, you go through strawberry guava forest, you go through macadamia nut forest. There's wild raspberries. There's actually blackberries near the top. It is a 4,000 foot elevation, about a 7 mile hike that has some ropes sections and a couple bouldering sections that has a lot of terrain changes. And you can see if you're at the highest point right here, you have amazing views of the west side. You get to the top on a clear day, you get amazing views of the North Shore, and you also can get a clear view of town on the right day. So pretty amazing views, and yeah, it's lightly trafficked. You'll usually will pass other people on the trail, but um, in my experience, there's only a handful of parties that make it to the top on any given day. Definitely, um, maybe 3 to 6 parties. I don't know. It depends. But I mean, and that's when I'm recording this now. So this is one of my favorite hikes, Mount Kaala. Now another one in Waianae. We're going to start with Waianae. So Canna Point, a lot of people know about Canna Point. It's iconic and attractive because you're going to the far west and north, or the far west point, and you get to see where the west and the north point meet. And this is an albatross breeding area, so which is really cool. Albatross in here that come and they breed, and you might see albatross babies if you come in the winter. During whale season, you'll see a lot of whales. You'll see monk seals here. But to me, not a lot of people do this. If you go to the upper pillbox, look, one review, people don't go up here. Amazing, incredible views from, you can just imagine from the upper pillbox. You climb this ridge and you can continue climbing up the ridge, stay to up here, and you get views of the North Shore, the west side, where they meet, and have these albatross circling down below you. So to me, this is an amazing hike. It's just a long walk from the trailhead, 3 miles one way, and that's what most people do. So it's family friendly. It's friendly to people of all ages. But if you want to challenge, you turn right here, and you may or may not find the trail, but you can scramble if you don't find the trail and start heading your way up and catch some pretty amazing views. So there's that one. Now, there's Miley Pillbox. This one I'm not going to spend too much time on, but Miley Pillbox is uh, the most famous popular hike, and it's nice for sunset. And what's nice about it is you almost always have good weather on this. If you're in town and you're trying to go in here, a lot of the time you're gonna have bad weather and have to either reschedule or just push through the mud or turn around or try to find an alternative. but you almost always have good weather for Miley Pillbox. So that's a reason why it's so popular. It happens to be on the dry side, happens to be on a ridge right overlooking the ocean. Pretty cool, but also not unique at all. Now, if you want unique ridge hikes, these aren't even on all trails, but I take people up on this ridge, Mount Akuvale, and this is a really cool view because you get to see the uh, all the farms in Waianae Valley on both sides, and that's pretty incredible. And oftentimes there's some mist and rain and rainbows in the back of the valley. There's also there's this ridge which I'm about to start doing. Yeah, I'm gonna do that one on Sunday. And then if you go to Makaha Beach Park, there's this ridge. There's not a trail for it, but I've gone up here and incredible views over Makaha Beach and the neighborhoods here. Nobody goes up there, nobody knows about it. So there's a lot of unknown hikes back here that are even unlisted, which I'm happy to share with people. Now, if you go into town, I'm gonna briefly share with you what's not my favorite hikes, but are decent hikes. Ehukai Pillbox on the North Shore is cool. There's some pillboxes on the east side, one in Kaneohe, there's one on Lanakai, but it's just so heavily trafficked, it's not that unique. Now, there's a lot of hikes in town that are actually not highly trafficked because they're so difficult. Um, One of them is, of course, Mauna Loa, which is the back of Stairway. A lot of people do it. Mauna Lua Valley Trail, which is in here, back a stairway. But each of these going down, you have a Kuli O'u Trail, which I really like this one. You have Willy Willy Nui. There's Pu'u Lanipo, and I mean we can talk about stairway. Like it's a lot of people do this. It's very long. It's very challenging. On a wet day, it's extremely difficult. People absolutely love it. The stairway is incredibly iconic, although the stairway is being removed right now. So you do it, you're not won't necessarily see a stairway, but I still think there's value in getting to this viewpoint. Although again, it has a tendency to have bad weather in town, and you're lucky to get a clear view. But if it's a wet day and you push through, it's still very rewarding, very memorable. So the back of stairway, that is one that I like to do. I will tell you my favorite trail on the island though, and this one isn't very popular, is Kyle Crater Trail. Oh my God, Kyle Crater is the best. You start down here, you go into a jungle. It's a loop. You climb 3 waterfalls to get to the top. You circle, you go to a very high peak up here. Um, Circle this peak, come back down so it's different forward, different back. To me, it's the best hike on the island, and I'm happy to take people on this hike. Really cool hike. You're climbing 3 waterfalls and hike around a grassy crater nobody has any access to. And on a clear day, you get a panoramic view. You get a view of this whole side of the island and this whole side of the island, the east side and the south side. So really cool, really amazing. Another one that I like to do is Monowilly. Although the problem with Monowilly, so Monowilly Oh, well, there's Three Peaks. I haven't done Three Peaks yet, actually. That's on my to-do, so I'm definitely not taking people there, but that's iconic. It's more of a dangerous climb than a hike. But Monowilly Falls, they closed this trail the legal way a couple years ago, and they haven't reopened it. And there is a legal way to do it, but you have to park over here, and there's no parking. So the poly lookout here, you got to park like I don't even know where over here maybe, and then get an Uber to take you. Yeah, it's just yeah. Um, Monomoy Falls. Yeah, this is actually the viewpoint, right? So the legal way, whatever. So what's interesting about Monobilly though is if you get there, this is the highest cliff jump on the island. It's debatable how high it is. People say 40 feet. I think it might be higher. It's super high, super sketchy, very dangerous, but a lot of fun. I don't know that I want to take people there because it's the legality is dubious and it's super fucking dangerous. but it's something that I've done. And you also don't have to go up the highest jump, but this is not for beginners. This is for experienced cliff jumpers, adventurers. But that's one of the more adventurous things you can do on the island. Let me look at my list of the ones that I would recommend. There's too many. There's too many. There's so many. I mean, there's Crouching Lion over here, which is very popular, but if you go behind Crouching Lion, there's a ridge hike behind it that nobody goes up. So even if you do some of the more popular hikes, if you just continue on them, they will turn into more interesting, some more interesting hikes. But man, there's so poo-hoo. Yeah, there's a lot I haven't done, right? There's hundreds. There's not enough time, and I prefer to specialize in the west side, but I'm always trying to do new ones, and yeah, happy to take people. So I would say to me the best hikes, the most iconic, Mount Kaala and Ka'au Crater to me are the most, and then I would say Moana, can never pronounce this, Moana Lua to the back of Stairway to Heaven, even if Stairway doesn't exist, is super iconic. But if you want to get off the beaten track, like there's a lot of cool ones. Uh, Canna Point Pillbox being one of them. But man, you cannot go wrong to go to any marked trail or even unmarked trail and just start scrambling up the side. So hope you found that useful. Appreciate you. Make sure to check me out on Instagram. Much love and talk to you soon. Peace.